Story 1: Whispers of the True Farmhouse. In the heart of the countryside, nestled beneath a shroud of ancient oaks and tangled brambles, lay a farmhouse that had seen more than its share of secrets. Its time-worn boards creaked with the weight of years, each grown a ghostly whisper from the past. It was known simply as the True Farmhouse, and those who ventured near spoke of its unsettling aura. The farmhouse had once belonged to the Turner family, but they had vanished without a trace one stormy night decades ago. Locals whispered of foul play and dark rituals, but no one dared to investigate. Fear had wrapped its bony fingers around the True Farmhouse, and it held the countryside in its icy grip. One autumn evening, Sarah, an investigative journalist with a penchant for the macabre, decided to unravel the mysteries of the True Farmhouse. Armed with her camera and determination, she ventured into the overgrown path leading to the farmhouse. The air grew thick with an ominous chill as she approached. As Sarah entered the decaying house, she was greeted by a chorus of eerie whispers. The walls seemed to breathe, exhaling memories of horrors long past. Shadows danced in the corners of her vision, and a foul stench clung to the air. In the dim light of her flashlight, Sarah discovered a room adorned with faded photographs. They depicted the Turner family, their smiles warped into grimaces of agony. Sarah shuddered, sensing the malevolent energy in the room. It was as if the very walls had absorbed the family's torment. Deeper into the house, she found a hidden cellar door. With trepidation, she descended into the darkness below. The walls of the cellar were adorned with crude symbols, etched in blood and soot. Sarah's heart pounded as she realized these were the markings of an ancient cult. Suddenly, the cellar door slammed shut, trapping her in the suffocating darkness. Panic set in as whispers turned to sinister laughter. Sarah's flashlight flickered and died, plunging her into inky blackness. Desperate, she fumbled for her camera, using its feeble flash to illuminate the horrors surrounding her. In the flickering light, grotesque figures emerged from the shadows. The cultists, clad in tattered robes, chanted in a sinister tongue. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she realized she had stumbled upon a ritual, one meant to summon unspeakable evil. As the ritual reached its climax, a malevolent presence filled the room, chilling Sarah to her core. The farmhouse seemed to come alive, its very essence pulsating with malice. She knew she had to escape, but the cultists' eyes were fixed on her, their intentions clear. With sheer determination, Sarah sprinted towards the cellar door. It swung open with a violent creak, and she tumbled out into the night, gasping for breath. The True Farmhouse behind her seemed to howl in anger as she fled. Sarah never returned to that forsaken place, but the horrors she witnessed haunted her dreams. The True Farmhouse remained a dark enigma, a testament to the darkness that could fester within the quietest corners of the world. Its secrets were buried with the Turner family, waiting for another unsuspecting soul to unearth them, and to become part of its chilling history. Story 2: The Haunting Secrets of Blackthorn Manor. In the heart of the countryside, shrouded in a thick veil of mist and surrounded by gnarled trees, stood the eerie edifice known as Blackthorn Manor. This farmhouse, with its dark, cracked timbers and overgrown gardens, had long been a source of dread for the local villagers. The history of Blackthorn Manor was fraught with bloodshed and betrayal. Legend had it that the manor's original owner, a reclusive farmer named Ezekiel Blackthorn, had made a sinister pact with the supernatural to protect his land. The price of his deal was steep, and it had cost him his soul. As the years passed, the manor became a place of malevolence. It was said that on moonless nights, the ghostly apparitions of those who had crossed paths with Ezekiel wandered the property, their anguished moans carried on the wind. One fateful evening, a paranormal investigator named Emily dared to unlock the secrets of Blackthorn Manor. She arrived with a team of skeptical colleagues, all determined to prove that the legends were nothing more than superstitions. The moment they set foot on the property, the air turned ice cold, and the earth seemed to tremble beneath their feet. Emily couldn't help but feel a foreboding presence watching their every move. Undeterred, they entered the manor, armed with cameras and recording equipment. Inside, the atmosphere was suffocating. Dust motes danced in the dim light, and the walls whispered secrets only they could understand. Emily's team began to capture strange phenomena on their cameras: shadowy figures darting down corridors, disembodied whispers, and eerie symbols etched into the wooden beams. As the night wore on, Emily and her team ventured into the cellar, where the darkness seemed to pool like ink. It was there that they stumbled upon a hidden chamber, its walls adorned with cryptic runes and symbols. A sense of impending doom washed over them, but they pressed on, determined to uncover the truth. In the heart of the chamber lay a weathered journal, its pages filled with the confessions of Ezekiel Blackthorn himself. He had indeed made a pact with an otherworldly entity, one that hungered for souls. Emily's blood ran cold as she realized that the curse of Blackthorn Manor was all too real. Suddenly, the cellar door slammed shut, trapping them in the chamber. Panic set in as the walls began to close in around them. Emily knew they were not alone. The vengeful spirits of those who had suffered under Ezekiel's pact were here, and they hungered for retribution. Desperation fueled their escape, and Emily's team clawed their way out of the chamber just as the walls seemed ready to consume them. They burst out of the manor, gasping for breath, their cameras capturing the fleeting glimpse of twisted, tormented figures within. As they fled the cursed grounds of Blackthorn Manor, Emily knew that they had unwittingly unleashed a malevolent force. The manor, with its dark history, would continue to lure unsuspecting souls into its clutches, and its haunting secrets would endure, forever shrouded in darkness and despair. Story 3: The Harvest of Shadows. Far from the bustling world, hidden beneath a moonless sky, there stood an old farmstead known only as the True Farmhouse. It was a place that time had forgotten, and for good reason. The secrets that whispered through its decaying timbers were enough to send shivers down the spine of anyone who dared to approach. In the annals of the countryside, the True Farmhouse was steeped in tales of darkness. The Wilson family, the last occupants, had vanished one gloomy autumn, leaving behind fields that withered and a house that wept for its inhabitants. Rumors swirled like a never-ending storm, speaking of unholy bargains and crops that thrived on the taste of blood. One bleak evening, Julia, an investigative journalist drawn to the macabre, decided to delve into the mysteries of the True Farmhouse. With her camera and unshakable resolve, she ventured down the twisted path leading to the decrepit dwelling. An unsettling silence blanketed the land, broken only by the rustling of the overgrown grass. As Julia stepped inside, the very air seemed to sigh in resignation. The house groaned with each step, as if sharing the weight of its secrets. The walls whispered, their voices a chorus of forgotten sorrows. Shadows danced in the corners of her vision, and a noxious scent clung to the air, a sinister fragrance of decay and despair. Julia's flashlight pierced the darkness, revealing faded photographs that adorned the walls. They depicted the Wilson family, their smiles warped into grotesque masks of agony. A chill crept down her spine as she felt the malevolent energy in the room, as if the very walls absorbed the family's torment. Venturing further, she discovered a concealed cellar door. With trepidation, she descended into the abyss below. The cellar walls were adorned with arcane symbols, etched in blood and soot. Julia's heart quickened as she recognized them as the markings of a sinister cult, a cult that had surely played a role in the Wilsons' fate. Inexplicably, the cellar door slammed shut, sealing her in the stifling darkness. Panic gripped Julia as whispers transformed into haunting laughter. Her flashlight flickered and died, plunging her into a black abyss. Desperation set in, and she fumbled for her camera, using its feeble flash to illuminate the horrors surrounding her. In the fleeting light, grotesque figures emerged from the shadows. The cultists, clad in tattered robes, chanted in a language long extinct. Julia's heart raced as she realized she was trapped in the midst of a ritual, one meant to summon unspeakable evil. As the ritual reached its climax, a malevolent presence filled the room, chilling Julia to her core. The true farmhouse itself seemed to come alive, its very essence throbbing with malice. She knew she had to escape, but the cultists' eyes were fixed on her, their intentions clear. Summoning every ounce of her willpower, Julia sprinted toward the cellar door. It swung open with a deafening creak, and she tumbled out into the night, gasping for air. The true farmhouse behind her seemed to howl in anger as she fled. Julia never returned to that accursed place, but the horrors she witnessed haunted her dreams. The true farmhouse remained a dark enigma, a testament to the darkness that could fester within the quietest corners of the world. Its secrets were buried with the Wilson family, waiting for another unsuspecting soul to unearth them, and to become part of its chilling history. Story 4: The Harvest of Desolation. In the heart of a desolate countryside, shrouded in perpetual twilight, there stood a decrepit farmstead known as the True Farmhouse. It was a place untouched by the sun's warmth, and the stories whispered about it spoke of unspeakable horrors. Generations had passed since the last inhabitants of the True Farmhouse, the Harrington family, had mysteriously vanished. The land had withered, and the once thriving farm had become a breeding ground for dread. Local villagers spoke in hushed tones, sharing chilling tales of sinister rituals and a darkness that clung to the very soil. One moonless night, Rachel, a relentless investigative journalist driven by an insatiable curiosity, made the fateful decision to unearth the mysteries hidden within the True Farmhouse. Armed with her camera and unyielding determination, she embarked on a journey down the winding path that led to the forsaken dwelling. An oppressive silence enveloped the land, as if the earth itself held its breath. As Rachel stepped over the threshold, the air grew heavy with a suffocating sense of foreboding. The farmhouse seemed to exhale a mournful sigh, its time-worn boards groaning as if they bore the weight of unspeakable secrets. The walls whispered, their voices a chorus of despair. Shadows lurked in every corner, and an acrid stench clung to the air, an odor of decay and doom. Rachel's flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing photographs of the Harrington family adorning the walls. Their once joyful smiles had twisted into grotesque expressions of agony. A frisson of terror coursed through her as she sensed the malevolent energy in the room, as if the very walls absorbed the family's suffering. Venturing deeper into the farmhouse, she stumbled upon a hidden cellar door. With trepidation, she descended into the abyss below. The cellar walls were adorned with chilling symbols, etched in blood and soot. A shiver ran down Rachel's spine as she realized they were the markings of a sinister cult, a cult that had played a role in the Harringtons' doom. Without warning, the cellar door slammed shut, imprisoning her in the oppressive darkness. Panic clawed at Rachel as whispers morphed into haunting laughter. Her flashlight sputtered and died, leaving her in pitch-black despair. Desperate, she fumbled for her camera, using its feeble flash to illuminate the horrors closing in. In the eerie light, grotesque figures emerged from the shadows. The cultists, draped in tattered robes, chanted in a language unknown to Rachel. Her heart raced as she grasped the horrifying truth. She was trapped in the heart of a ritual meant to summon unimaginable evil. As the ritual reached its climax, a malevolent presence surged through the room, freezing Rachel to her core. The true farmhouse itself seemed to awaken, its very essence pulsating with malevolence. She knew she had to escape, but the cultists' eyes bore into her, their intentions clear. Summoning every ounce of strength, Rachel sprinted toward the cellar door. With a deafening creak, it swung open, and she tumbled out into the night, gasping for life-giving air. The true farmhouse behind her seemed to howl in fury as she fled. Rachel never returned to that accursed place, but the horrors she had witnessed haunted her dreams. The true farmhouse remained an enigma, a testament to the darkness lurking in the deepest corners of the world. Its secrets, buried with the Harrington family, awaited the next unsuspecting soul to unearth them, and to become part of its chilling history.